When I look out to sea, it doesn't matter where I am, I just always feel a sense of calm and peace. I'm David Haze, and most people know me as a stand-up paddleboard adventurer. I went to boarding school from the age of 7 till 18. Went to military school and I always loved being outdoors, loved the sense of adventure. So I always loved sailing, I've always loved surfing. When I got my later teens, I was a national champion sailor for 2 years, surfed for my university, and just always been around the water. And as I sort of grew up, I lost that sense of adventure, which I'm trying to recapture now. Yeah, so I ended up working in finance in London. Things didn't go too well for me. And I ended up turning to crime, which put me into prison. Instead of sort of being open and honest and trying to seek the help, I decided to take the wrong route, which, you know, I completely regret. Yeah, so after I lost my job, I was just sort of too proud to ask for help. And I ended up turning to gambling. Through the gambling, I ended up turning to drinks and to drugs, and just my life got completely out of control. I ended up moving some stolen goods. And when I did that, yeah, I was caught for that. And for a year, I was looking to go to court. And I just kept that to myself. And I was like a pressure cooker, I suppose. And that day that court date came, I just vanished. I disappeared for 5 weeks. And in those 5 weeks, I ended up turning to burglary, which then put me into prison for 3 years. So I ended up seeking a lot of help when I was inside. I met a wonderful woman called Dr. Sarah Lewis, who just saw me as a human being, as an individual, which they don't do in the prison system. They just don't do that. And then when I came out, she offered me a job, so I work full-time with her now, which is amazing. But I just made that vow to myself to rekindle that love for adventure, love for water, and that's what I'm doing now. I've came out, started picking up my paddleboard again, and just haven't looked back yet. Came up with this idea while I was in prison to paddleboard the 4 longest lakes in the UK in 4 days to try and set 4 world records. For me, you know, going to prison isn't my defining moment in life, and like, I've committed a crime, but it's not who I am. So I wanted to prove to myself that I am capable of so much more. So I set myself this challenge when I was in prison. Even though a lot of people told me that, you know, you're a number, it's not going to happen, have daydreaming. So to prove all those people wrong, in June this year, I went and did that. I went and paddleboarded the 4 longest lakes, set 4 world records, and just got this real thirst just to continue doing that. Attempt more world records, world firsts, and I'm on the journey to do that now. The thing I loved about adventure growing up was that challenge. And now when you hit that low point on the water or doing these adventures, that's when you really know who you are. I did the River Thames a few weeks back, and there's one point in that where I brought my board out of the water. It was about 4 in the morning, I was absolutely shattered. I nearly snapped the fin on the board. I was just sitting there for a moment thinking, if I snap this fin, nobody's going to know that I've done that I can quit now and nobody's going to know it's me. But then in that moment I caught myself thinking, I was like, that's how I used to think. You know, I don't think like that. That thinking got me into prison, like this, think of more positive solutions. And in that moment, that's when I know I've completely changed. And that's what I love about doing these adventures, getting on that water. It's like I learn more about myself, just like I did then. The government puts all this money into rehabilitation, but my rehabilitation started through adventure and through paddleboarding, and it's been absolutely amazing. I mean, there's a thing called adventure therapy, which, you know, that's what it is for me, and it is absolutely amazing. I've learned so much about myself in a short space of time by pushing myself to these absolute limits. Yeah, so I want to start working with young people who are sort of having, you know, a brush with crime. And I work full-time as a consultant for the criminal justice system. But I want to sort of focus on highlighting the importance of reform and rehabilitation. I mean, a lot of the adventures that I do is all about this, but also using adventure sport as a tool for transformation, like it's changed my life. And I want to pass that on and try and do some good with it. And you know, slowly getting there. Slowly my message is getting out there. And it's great to see it. So yeah, when I do all these adventures, all these world records, I try and raise money for charity, and I choose Alliance of Sport to actually use the power of sport in the criminal justice system. I've done really well for them. They've actually made me an ambassador, which is, you know, it's amazing. I feel so honoured to do that and push the message out there to try and raise awareness around reform and rehabilitation. Paddleboarding and adventure gives me purpose, it gives me drive in life. So I'm hoping to paddleboard the longest lake in Iceland and Ireland this year. Then I'm going to go big, I'm going to try and hit Europe, do 33 lakes in 33 countries, hopefully in 66 days. And I just want to continue to push myself. I have this opportunity now and I'm doing something great, and it's a shame to waste it. Failure in life isn't a bad thing. Just because you have failed doesn't make you a failure. You're a person who has failed. And it's taken me a long time to realise that. But failure is just about growing. So embrace the failure, learn and change your ways.